Ever wondered why the Netherlands is one of the wealthiest nations on Earth? With a GDP per capita consistently ranking in the top 10 globally, this small European country packs a powerful economic punch. Surprisingly, it's home to some of the busiest ports in the world, handling over 12 million containers annually. But how did a nation with just over 17 million people achieve such prosperity? Join us on a journey to uncover the remarkable story behind the Netherlands' wealth and success. Let us begin with a little bit of context. Since World War II, the Netherlands has become a strong industrial country in Europe. Even though farming isn't a big part of their income, they're really good at it and sell a lot abroad. But because they don't have many minerals like gas, they have to buy a lot of stuff from other countries to keep their factories going. The government has always had a say in how things run here, especially in transportation and big industries. But in the 1980s, people started to like the idea of businesses running things more on their own. So the government sold off some big companies like Dutch State Mines and Royal Dutch Airlines to private owners. But even with all these changes, the government still keeps an eye on things, making sure everything is fair. Since the war, the government has been working hard to make sure everyone in the country has a chance to do well. They give money to places that aren't doing so great to help them grow. But even with all this help, the western part of the country is still where all the cool stuff happens, especially in jobs like banking and restaurants. In the Netherlands, farming plays a big role in how the land is used. They have different types of land for growing things like grass, crops, and special plants. Dutch farmers are really good at dairy farming, which means they're experts at getting lots of milk from their cows. In fact, they're so good that they produce some of the most milk per acre of land and per cow in the whole world. They turn a good chunk of this milk into yummy things like butter, cheese, and condensed milk, which they sell to other countries. When it comes to meat and eggs, Dutch farms are super busy too. They have huge farms where lots of pigs, calves, and chickens are raised in big buildings and fed mostly food that's brought in from other places. The grains they need for food are mostly brought in from outside the country too. But it's not just about cows and pigs. The Netherlands is also famous for growing plants and vegetables in special glass houses called hothouses. They grow things like tomatoes, cucumbers, and bell peppers in these glass houses, and they're really good at it. They also have beautiful flower fields where they grow tulips and other flowers that are famous all over the world. Even though the Netherlands isn't a big fishing country, they still catch a fair amount of fish. What's interesting is that they actually export more fish than they import. So even though they eat a lot of fish, they make sure to share with other countries too. Secondly, in the Netherlands, the story of resources and power is shaped by their strategic use of oil, natural gas, and alternative energy sources. Coal mining used to be a big deal, especially in the southeast, but it stopped in 1974 because it was getting too expensive. Now, the Netherlands imports millions of tons of coal every year to fuel things like their steel factories in places like IJmuiden. When it comes to oil, the Netherlands doesn't have much of it themselves, so they have to bring in a lot from other countries. They do have some oil wells in places like Schombeek in the northeast, but it's not enough to meet their needs, so they import a bunch of crude oil and then refine it into things like gasoline and diesel, which they often sell to other countries. But the real game changer for the Dutch economy was the discovery of natural gas in 1959. They found huge gas fields in places like Schochteren in the northeast and even under the North Sea. This was a big deal because it helped the Netherlands become one of the biggest natural gas producers in Europe. They export a third of what they produce to countries in the European Union, which helps boost their economy. Because they have so much natural gas, the Netherlands doesn't rely much on nuclear power. Instead, they've been focusing on using renewable energy sources like wind power. You'll often see wind turbines dotting the flat landscapes, especially in rural areas. Aside from oil and gas, the Netherlands also has other resources like zinc, sodium, and magnesium, which they mine in places like Boedel, Delfzijl, and Vindem. Thirdly, manufacturing has been a key driver of economic growth, evolving from a relatively late start in the late 19th century to becoming a vital sector in the nation's economy. Even during the challenging times of the Great Depression in the 1930s, Dutch production continued to rise. However, it was after World War II that manufacturing truly took off, driven by increasing population numbers and surplus of farm labor, which necessitated the creation of tens of thousands of new jobs each year. By the early 21st century, manufacturing industries accounted for about 1/5 of the labor force, although they contributed only about 1/8 of the total production value. Among the significant players in the manufacturing sector are food and beverage, metalworking, chemical, petroleum products, and electrical and electronics industries. While historically important sectors like textile manufacturing, shipbuilding, and aircraft construction have seen a significant decline in employment, the Dutch government has been proactive in encouraging new industrial developments. This includes investments in emerging fields such as microelectronics, biotechnology, and the digital economy, reflecting a commitment to staying at the forefront of technological advancement and innovation. Finance, trade, and services play pivotal roles in the Netherlands' economic landscape, reflecting the country's historical prowess in commerce and its modern-day prominence in global markets. Commercial banking in the Netherlands is dominated by a few large institutions, with a trend toward mergers between banks and insurance companies over the years. The Netherlands Central Bank oversees the banking system, ensuring its stability and integrity. Notably, the Amsterdam Stock Exchange, established in the early 1600s, stands as one of the world's oldest stock exchanges, underscoring the country's long-standing tradition in financial markets. Trade forms a cornerstone of the Dutch economy, with strong ties to Europe and North America. Over the years, the Netherlands' trading partners have evolved, with Germany, Belgium, the United Kingdom, and other European nations being significant destinations for Dutch exports. The service industry is a major contributor to the labor force and GDP, with tourism playing a crucial role in attracting visitors from Germany, Britain, the United States, and Belgium. In terms of labor and taxation, the Netherlands has a well-organized labor force, with unions playing a significant role in collective bargaining. The government utilizes both direct and indirect taxation to fund extensive welfare programs, including a value-added tax, VAT, personal income tax, property tax, and various other levies. Transportation infrastructure is of paramount importance, given the Netherlands' role as a key gateway for trade between Europe and the world. Rotterdam, Europe's largest seaport, is a vital hub for maritime traffic, handling a significant portion of goods transported to and from the continent. Additionally, Amsterdam Airport, Schiphol, serves as a major international airport, facilitating air travel and cargo shipments. The country's extensive road network, complemented by inland waterways and railways, further enhances its connectivity and efficiency in moving goods and people. In terms of telecommunications, the Netherlands boasts advanced infrastructure, including fiber optic and mobile networks, ensuring widespread connectivity and accessibility. Cell phone and personal computer usage rates are high, reflecting the country's commitment to technological innovation and digital advancements. Apart from all this, about 60% of the stuff that comes into the Netherlands quickly leaves again as re-exports. They call this the Rotterdam effect, because of the big Dutch port we talked about earlier. Some countries find it easier and cheaper to bring things in through this port. In 2015, only about half of what they exported was actually made in the Netherlands. The rest was just passing through, but counted as Dutch exports. Basically, this Rotterdam effect makes it seem like the Netherlands exports a lot more food than it actually produces. But remember, the Netherlands is not just good at moving stuff around, it's also a really smart, free, and rich country. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.